Schindler's List is a 1993 American epic historical drama film directed and produced by Steven Spielberg and written by Steven Zaillian. It is based on the 1982 non-fiction novel Schindler's Ark by Australian novelist Thomas Keneally. The film follows Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who together with his wife Emilie Schindler saved more than 1,000 mostly Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in his factories during World War II. It stars Liam Neeson as Schindler, Ralph Fiennes as SS officer Amon Göth and Ben Kingsley as Schindler's Jewish accountant Itzhak Stern. Ideas for a film about the Schindlerjuden, Schindler Jews, were proposed as early as 1963. Poldek Pfefferberg, one of the Schindlerjuden, made it his life's mission to tell Schindler's story. Spielberg became interested when executive Sidney Sheinberg sent him a book review of Schindler's Arkansas. Universal Pictures bought the rights to the novel, but Spielberg, unsure if he was ready to make a film about the Holocaust, tried to pass the project to several directors before deciding to direct it. Principal photography took place in Krakow, Poland, over 72 days in 1993. Spielberg shot in black and white and approached the film as a documentary. Cinematographer Janusz Kaminski wanted to create a sense of timelessness. John Williams composed the score, and violinist Itzhak Perlman performed the main theme. Schindler's List premiered on November 30, 1993, in Washington, D.C., and was released on December 15, 1993, in the United States. Often listed among the greatest films ever made, 4, 5, 6, 7, the film received international acclaim from critics for its tone, Spielberg's direction, performances and atmosphere. It was also a box office success, earning $322 million worldwide on a $22 million budget. It was nominated for 12 Academy Awards, winning 7, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Score, and won numerous other awards, including 7 BAFTAs and 3 Golden Globes. In 2007, the American Film Institute ranked Schindler's List 8th on its list of the 100 best American films of all time. The film was designated as culturally, historically or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress in 2004 and selected for preservation in the National Film Registry. In Krakow during World War II, the Germans have forced local Polish Jews into the overcrowded Krakow ghetto. Oskar Schindler, an ethnic German from Czechoslovakia, arrives in the city hoping to make his fortune. A member of the Nazi Party, Schindler lavishes bribes on Wehrmacht, German armed forces, and SS officials and acquires a factory to produce enamelware. To help him run the business, Schindler enlists the aid of Itzhak Stern, a local Jewish official who has contacts with black marketeers and the Jewish business community. Stern helps Schindler arrange financing for the factory. Schindler maintains friendly relations with the Nazis and enjoys wealth and status as Herr Director, and Stern handles administration. Schindler hires Jewish workers because they cost less, while Stern ensures that as many people as possible are deemed essential to the German war effort, which saves them from being transported to concentration camps or killed. SS Untersturmführer, Second Lieutenant, Amon Göth arrives in Krakow to oversee construction of Plazow concentration camp. When the camp is completed, he orders the ghetto liquidated. Many people are shot and killed in the process of emptying the ghetto. Schindler witnesses the massacre and is profoundly affected. He particularly notices a young girl in a red coat as she hides from the Nazis, and later sees her body among a wagonload of corpses. Schindler is careful to maintain his friendship with Göth and, through bribery and lavish gifts, continues to enjoy SS support. Göth brutally mistreats his Jewish maid Helen Hirsch and randomly shoots people from the balcony of his villa, and the prisoners are in constant fear for their lives. As time passes, Schindler's focus shifts from making money to trying to save as many lives as possible. To better protect his workers, Schindler bribes Göth into allowing him to build a sub-camp. As the Germans begin to lose the war, Göth is ordered to ship the remaining Jews at Plazow to Auschwitz concentration camp. Schindler asks Göth to allow him to move his workers to a new munitions factory he plans to build in Brunlitz near his hometown Zwickau. Göth agrees, but charges a huge bribe. Schindler and Stern create Schindler's List, a list of about 850 people to be transferred to Brunlitz and thus saved from transport to Auschwitz. As the Jewish workers are transported by train to Brunlitz, the one carrying the women and girls is accidentally redirected to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Schindler bribes Rudolf Haas, the commandant of Auschwitz, with a bag of diamonds to win their release. At the new factory, Schindler forbids the SS guards from entering the factory floor without special permission and encourages the Jews to observe the Jewish Sabbath. Over the next 7 months, he spends much of his fortune bribing Nazi officials and buying shell casings from other companies. Due to Schindler's own machinations, the factory does not produce any usable armaments during this period. Schindler runs out of money in 1945, just as Germany surrenders, ending the war in Europe. As a Nazi Party member and war profiteer, Schindler must flee the advancing Red Army to avoid capture. The SS guards in Schindler's factory have been ordered to kill the Jewish workforce, but Schindler persuades them not to, so that they can return to their families as men, instead of murderers. He bids farewell to his workers and prepares to head west, hoping to surrender to the Americans. The workers give Schindler a signed statement attesting to his role in saving Jewish lives and present him with a ring engraved with a Talmudic quotation, "Whoever saves one life saves the world entire." Schindler is touched but also ashamed, as he feels he should have done even more. He breaks down sobbing, and is comforted by the workers. He and his wife leave. When the Schindlerjuden awaken the next morning, a Soviet soldier announces that they have been liberated. The Jews leave the factory and walk to a nearby town. An epilogue reveals that Schindler's marriage failed after the war, as did his attempts to start new businesses, while Göth was arrested, tried, and executed for crimes against humanity. Schindler was later honored by Yad Vashem for his efforts to save his workers from being put to death. In the present, many of the surviving Schindlerjuden and the actors portraying them visit Schindler's grave and place stones on its marker, the traditional Jewish sign of respect on visiting a grave. The final visitor is Liam Neeson, who lays 2 roses on the marker. Pfefferberg, one of the Schindlerjuden, made it his life's mission to tell the story of his savior. Pfefferberg attempted to produce a biopic of Oskar Schindler with MGM in 1963, with Howard Koch writing, but the deal fell through. 9/10, in 1982, Thomas Keneally published his historical novel Schindler's Ark, which he wrote after a chance meeting with Pfefferberg in Los Angeles in 1980. 11. MCA President Sid Sheinberg sent director Steven Spielberg a New York Times review of the book. Spielberg, astounded by Schindler's story, jokingly asked if it was true. "I was drawn to it because of the paradoxical nature of the character," he said. "What would drive a man like this to suddenly take everything he had earned and put it all in the service of saving these lives?" 12. Spielberg expressed enough interest for Universal Pictures to buy the rights to the novel. 12. At their first meeting in spring 1983, he told Pfefferberg he would start filming in 10 years. 13. In the end credits of the film, Pfefferberg is credited as a consultant under the name Leopold Page. 14. Spielberg was unsure if he was mature enough to make a film about the Holocaust, and the project remained on his guilty conscience. 13. Spielberg tried to pass the project to director Roman Polanski, who turned it down. Polanski's mother was killed at Auschwitz, and he had lived in and survived the Krakow ghetto. 13. Polanski eventually directed his own Holocaust drama The Pianist, 2002. Spielberg also offered the film to Sidney Pollack and Martin Scorsese, who was attached to direct Schindler's List in 1988. However, Spielberg was unsure of letting Scorsese direct the film, as I'd given away a chance to do something for my children and family about the Holocaust. 15. Spielberg offered him the chance to direct the 1991 remake of Cape Fear instead. 16. Billy Wilder expressed an interest in directing the film as a memorial to his family, most of whom were murdered in the Holocaust. 17. Brian De Palma also turned down an offer to direct. 18.